Okay, next up, New York City, WOR-fm. Probably at the time to people who are watching right now, WOR-fm was WOR-fm, what everybody called it there, WOR-fm. 98.7 stereo.
1440 Broadway.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Yeah. Do you know that little pizza place that was across the street?
Yeah.
It's been there for 50. It's now one of the top 3 or 4 iconic pizza places in New York City because it's been there that long. Lines, lines around the block to go get pizza. On the wall, there's nothing but movie stars getting pizza in this little tiny little room shack that you can't even eat in. It's not even big enough to eat in. But anyway, so I digress. So Billboard magazine's WOR-fm was the station of the year, like, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 times. Sebastian Stone, the PD at the time, he was like program director of the year, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 times. So it is a super successful, massive, iconic radio station that Walt gets hired to go to, and you go there. First question, in the scheme of things, going to WOR-fm, when you actually got there and were inside, did that seem like, just from how good is this radio station on the inside? How battened down is it, and all that sort of stuff? Did it feel like better, equal, or a letdown from CKLW?
Seemed like a letdown compared to CKLW because it was so much smaller. Everything was compact.
Yeah.
I understand I was in New York City now, not in Windsor, Canada / Detroit, which was okay, which was great.
Yeah.
It was so much bigger, as you know. When I say bigger, I'm talking about space, but I'm also talking about just in your perception of everything because of the TV station and all that in one big building. Now, I understand 2 blocks away was our WOR television, Channel 9, same company, but it was like we were divorced from it. We were like, matter of fact, I'll never forget John Gambling, the original John Gambling.
Rambling and Gambling up on the 11th or 12th floor or something like that.
Famous broadcasters that made millions. I mean, they got paid like $1 million, $2 million a year and all that stuff compared to our pennies.
In the 60s.
One day after I'm there, but follow where I'm going and you'll see how it connects. Yeah. They have me come in for Jimmy King, the morning guy who had gotten sick. And they said, we need you to come and do Jimmy King's show for a few days. So, and that was, starting at 6 a.m. Like now that morning show started at 5 a.m. or something. But anyway, so I'm getting there an hour early, like at 5, right? Because of, the hour early for show prep and all that stuff. So I'm coming in the building at 1440 Broadway with the guards and everything downstairs. And I see this big black limousine pull up as I'm opening the door to walk in. The guy gets out. It's John Gambling.
Wow.
And so as I'm walking down the hallway, right where you get to where you have to sign in and all that stuff, and then Gambling gets on a set of elevators that go up to the 50th floor. We get on the elevator that goes up to the 2nd or 3rd floor, wherever we were.
2nd floor, yeah.
And he says to me, good morning, how you doing? I said, oh, good morning, sir, how are you? Now, I think it's him, but I don't know it's him. He says, you must be the kid that they've been talking about. And I said, excuse me? He says, you must be the kid that they've been talking about. Are you that Walt Baby Love guy? I said, yes, sir, I am. He said, I'm John Gambling. He says, welcome to the company. He says, I've been hearing good things about you. He says, you keep doing a good job. I said, oh, thank you, sir. He signs in, goes to that elevator. Then the guys downstairs, it just happened to be black, right? They said, man, John Gambling, he just said your name. He knows you, who you are. I said, wow. So that's impressive. So I sign, I go upstairs. And when I get upstairs, remember John Conklin? I don't know why names are coming, one of the board ops.
Yeah.
And Conklin's like, wow, usually we're here in the afternoon. You're here in the morning. I'm like, yeah, come in for Jimmy, this and that. And I said, guess what just happened? And I tell him the story. And they're all laughing. The news guys, everything. God, you met John Gambling? He called you the new kid? Right? I was like, yeah. So that's good. That's good. Because that means people are talking about you in the building. Right?
Yeah.
But I'll never forget that experience because I had heard of him. I had read about him. but he was very gracious.
Yeah.
Wasn't kind of like, who the hell's that, but, and this is like 5 something in the morning, and he's going to be on the radio at 6, like I was about to do on FM. But the famous,
Yeah.
iconic John Gambling, so it blew me
Yeah.
away.
He was that whole family was like a dynasty in New York City because I
Yeah.
mean I don't know, I think probably in
I
the
mean,
mornings they
his
probably
son
make
came
this.
later, then a grandson after that.
Yeah, like one after another with probably
Yeah.
25 shares in the morning. It was, crazy success. You mentioned Conklin. He was a fanatic board op. Because we're going to bounce back to CK for a second. He was
Yeah.
he used to talk to me, probably you two, constantly. How do they do the layovers at CKLW? How do they do the layunders? How do they get one thing going over the top of the other? How do they do that? Can I try one here? It's like, yeah, go ahead, try one. Take a shot. I'm used to it. For people watching, a lot of the board operators, depending on the time of the year, were actually television camera people. They did the Mets games, so they're on the board with the jocks, and they're reading books. They can, you're buzzing, just like, oh yeah, okay, here, let me hit the. Yeah, they could care less. But then there was a few young guys who were into it.
Yeah,
And
'cause I was
wanted to
going to
be
say
like
all
this.
the guys I got were the young guys. Board ops, I'm sure had their favorites of us talent who
Sure,
they liked to
sure.
work with or they didn't like to work with.
Yeah,
And if they got
yeah,
to know you and liked you, they would tell you things, right? And
yeah, yeah,
but I was blessed,
yeah.
man. I seem to always end up with the guys who were really into it, as you said, and they had certain something. They're like, hey, in your rotations, this, that, and the other thing. When's this song coming up? I want to play that song. And I said, well, it's
Right,
coming up at this point. We'll do it there. Or guess what?
yeah.
I'll slip it in over here or that because we can move it around or something.
I think you probably both of us probably got an appreciation for that, or anybody that went through CKLW at that time. It wasn't like you're doing a show and there's just somebody else in there operating it. They were an integral part of the show.
Absolutely.
They're like probably a good third of why you sounded good.
Absolutely.
And you knew it, so therefore, huge appreciation for what they did. Because I mean, having all of us at some point, you run your own board and you go like, that's hard what they're doing.
Sometimes I'd come in and say, I brought you food, or hey, when we get off, let's go here or let's go there. I'm buying. My grandmother taught me, show people you appreciate them, because you just said it earlier. About 1/3 of our show probably was them that made us sound good. Because if they screwed up, we screwed up, right?
Yeah.
I try to let folks know how much I appreciate them because none of us can do anything by ourselves. We need other people to help us do what we do.